Okay, so now let's talk about the OOAc, and let's talk about the last part of the word OOAc, which is the strengths and the areas of improvement. If you're familiar with strategic planning, they use the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I don't like the word weaknesses. I don't believe people have weaknesses. I believe people have area of improvement. So I said, no, I'm not using the weaknesses. I'll change it for AI. I also don't believe we have threats. We have challenge. Because challenge means that you can change it or you can move it around. Threat is like, oh, no, not that. So let's talk about your strengths and areas of improvement, which is more internal, something that you can control. Okay, there are things that you can control and things that you cannot. And we will talk about that in a few minutes. For example, if you're a company and you want to write your mission statement for your company, there's 5 dimensions you have to focus when you write a mission statement for a company. What the company does for its customers, what it does for its employees, what it does for its owners, customers, employees, owners, what the company does for its community, and what it does for the world, W-O-R-L-D, world. Now, if you are a person, will be almost the same thing, but obviously focus on who you are. You will ask, and this is part of the mission. I'm pretty sure you cover points 4 and 5 in your mission statement, because people always try to be good for the community and for the world. So I'm pretty sure you did it. Of course, when I did my mission statement the first time, I didn't put I want to be wonderful. But of course, I think internally that if I want to be happy and do what I don't want to hurt others. Usually what I want is I want to help others. So I will assume that if I do it right, I will add all of this information. But now let's talk about the first 3. The first 3 is, what do you do for your customers or your clients? That will be part of your mission. What do you do for your employees if you have a business? Or what do you do for your employers if you work in a company? What do you do? So these 3 things, in order to define what do you do, those have to be defined based on your strengths. So the big question in this section is, what are your strengths? And then the strengths, what is the strengths? It's the characteristics that give you an advantage over others. What do you do different than others, better than others? Okay, what is your value proposition? How does others see you? How you differentiate you from your competitors? How you differentiate you for people who give similar services than you? How do you differentiate you for people who have similar skills like you? For example, when I was preparing this course about branding, I actually checked other branding courses. And I said, okay, this person is doing in this way. Let me use my strengths in order to explain what branding it is. What my strengths, strategic planning, statistics, my own experience. So you will see this course differently than others, hopefully. And the most important here is, how do others perceive what are your strengths? Because branding requires that if people are perceiving you differently, you have to change that. You have to change who you really are. That's your strengths. Now let's talk about your areas of improvement. What areas of improvement are? Well, obviously the things that are not your strengths. So are these characteristics that put you in disadvantage relative to others? Okay? How do your competitors do better than you? What the competitors do better than you? What people who have similar skills do better than you? For example, I also teach instructional technology for teachers. And every year I have to update myself because there is a new technology, new software, new this, new that. If I don't update myself, People who also teach instructional technology will do a better job than what I do. If I want to brand myself as an instructional technologist, I have to belong to groups, I have to update myself, I have to have connections with this group, and I have to really work it in order to maintain my position. That's because technology. But you probably have another area of strength that doesn't require that so much work. You also have to think about how others perceive what are your weaknesses. And you have to be very careful about this. Because one thing is your weaknesses, and another thing is your areas of improvement. There are things that you maybe cannot change. Okay, physical things especially. If you are a specific skin color and people feel like that's your weakness for them because they don't accept that people of the specific color be in this position or that position, you cannot change that. You can help the person to understand who you are. Listen, you help the person to understand who you are, but it's very difficult to change the perceptions of others. I have lived that in my life because some people perceive people with Spanish accent, the accent I'm speaking right now is Spanish, they perceive that probably they're not that smart. I'm like, what? How? My accent is sexy, I love it, and I am as smart as you are. But that perception, you cannot change it. And you can say, well, why you don't study and improve your accent? Here's the news, I cannot do it. Why? Because when you learn a new language at a certain age, and that's the reason I am a good researcher, there is a section in your brain who closes. And that section doesn't allow you to change your accent, because accent is something physical. So because it's something physical, I always will have accent until the day I die. Interesting. So now I'm happy, whatever. That's my accent. I have to live with that. And I have to make sure that I do my effort to pronounce every word so you can understand me. But also I want to make sure that people are not seeing me as a weakness having an accent, because that's part of who I am. That's the color of my skin, the color of my hair, the color of my eyes. That cannot change. So you have to be careful about areas of improvement. When we're talking about areas of improvement, we really talk about your areas that you can study and work for that. No things that you can change for that. Now, areas of improvement could be several things. You can think about, and those will be used for your strengths. What are your strengths? Let's talk about your strengths. What are your strengths? What do you do better than others? What are the unique capabilities and resources do you possess? You need to start thinking and writing about that, because when you write this, you internalize and you learn about this. And how do others perceive you as your strengths? Now, remember, you can change the perception. It's important how do you feel before start thinking about others. Now, when you write about your strengths, you have to do several things. You have to write about your capabilities, your certifications, your education, your skills, your persona. You know, what is your strengths as a persona also is important. For example, you will see in the information I provided you, there are several words that you can use to define your persona as a strength if you believe you have it. And there is 4 areas: the executing, how you execute things. Are you a person who have discipline? Are you a person who have focus? Are you a person who are responsible? How you influence people? Are you believe that you talk about significance? Are you a competitor? How you are as an influencing personality? How you are relationship building? How you build your relationships? Are you a person who have empathy, who have harmony, or maybe you are an individualizer, or you are a positive person or a negative person? Also, it's how you use your strategic thinking. Are you a learner? Are you a person who understands the input? Are you a person who self-evaluate? All of these things are your strengths, besides your skills and your knowledge. And all of these things you need to write it in a piece of paper And the same way you write all your strengths, you need to start writing all your weaknesses. Oh, sorry, no weaknesses, areas of improvement. So the same thing, you will think about your areas of improvement. So what are your areas that you need to improve? What does your competition do better than you? Because now you focus on your competition, people who will try to get your job, people who will try to get your position, people who share with you moments of life, and there are similar skills. What do you improve? How you improve this? How you improve the situations? An important thing, how you improve the things that people perceive you as weaknesses, and that can be improved. With this, I will let you working, and once you write all your areas of improvement and your strengths, I want you to write which of these areas, the areas of improvement in strengths, will be part of your brand. So you have activity there. Please do the activity, and then I will see you after you do this activity. This activity will take you probably half an hour. Let's sit down and do it. I know you say, no, let me think about that. No, you sit down and do it. Print your page and write it and think about that. You can even ask others, what do you think is my strength, if you don't know? And then I will give you more examples after you finish this exercise.